Our Story Productions presents the Cocklebur Morning Show, where we read out the big stories from throughout Sweet Swine County with Bobby Ray and Sally Sue.
Thank you, and welcome to the Cocklebur Morning Show. Ladies and gentlemen, we are excited to announce that we have just completed our first year here on the Cocklebur Morning Show. That's amazing. I'm telling you, it's just amazing. And we want to thank you, our viewers, for taking the time to watch us and to enjoy what it is that we have to present to you on a regular, routine basis. So,
can I say it's been quite a year?
Oh, it has.
Oh,
it
it's just been, we've had so many great guests and great reports. And today we're going to take a look.
Are we? Okay.
On our highlights of the shows that we have had this year.
This is going to be a lot of fun. And especially now that we have 1 million plus households in the Twin Cities.
Amazing.
It's outstanding.
We're in the
it's just
Twin
outstanding.
Cities, 1 million.
Yep.
Oh,
That's
I
outstanding.
can't believe it. Yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to share stories that we've done inside and outside of Sweet Swine County. So,
yes.
What do you think?
So here we go. We have great citizens throughout Sweet Swine County, and they make our show possible.
So, we are going to share stories from inside and outside of Sweet Swine County?
Well, no, we're only going to show stories that we've done outside.
Oh, okay.
Sweet Swine
Okay.
County. Though Sweet Swine County has many great citizens
True.
Who make our show possible, but you know what? Not much happens there.
Well, that's true, Sally Sue. You know, I think we should start with a segment that we feature on every show.
Oh, pray tell, what would
that has
be?
become very important part of our viewers'
yes.
day.
I
And you know what it is? You know what it is?
I imagine.
Bobby Ray's Weekend Adventures.
That's right. Each week,
Each week.
I share with our viewers what I did over the weekend.
Yes.
And based on the emails that I'm receiving.
Oh, I'm sure you are. And your assistant is helping with that.
Soon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
amongst other things.
Yes.
And our viewers recognize I am the expert.
Oh.
Okay. On what is happening outside of Sweet Swine County.
Well, of course. Of
So,
course.
there you are.
So, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at the places that Bobby Ray has visited.
Let's do that.
Yes.
Well, I want you to know, ladies and gentlemen, get ready, because once again, it's time for
Bobby Ray's Weekend Adventures.
You know, Sally Sue, this weekend I visited courthouses. I visited some places that have some of the most magnificent architecture you've ever seen.
Really?
I don't know if I told you this, but one of my passions is courthouses.
Another passion.
Oh
that
yeah,
you
I have many passions.
I'm learning that.
I'm a passionate person about many things.
I
Okay.
see. Okay.
Anyway, I got on the computer, found out where some of these courthouses were.
Oh, good.
Got in my car. I do a lot of research. Got in my car and drove around southern Minnesota and checked out some of these courthouses.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
And here's what I found. I took some notes.
Well,
Okay.
good. Where'd you go?
All right. I went to the Faribault County Courthouse in Blue Earth. Faribault County, Minnesota is listed on the National Register of Historic Places.
Really?
The building was completed in December 1892 at a cost of, are you ready for this?
Okay.
$70,000.
$70,000.
You can't even buy a good vehicle for that price anymore.
No, you can't. Amazing.
Of course, there's the famous Martin County Courthouse.
Oh, yes.
That's located in Fairmont, Martin County, Minnesota, obviously. It features a high copper dome with 4 clock faces. It's and it's beautiful,
pretty.
and it's beautiful inside. The building was designed by Charles E. Bell and built by J.B. Nelson in 1907. So that was a little bit further ahead than the one in Faribault for a cost of $125,000. Unbelievable prices, okay?
Wow.
Of course, today that would be a lot of money.
Yes, yes.
And the final one I went to was the Cottonwood County Courthouse. That's located in Windham, Minnesota. It was built in 1903 at a cost of nearly $60,000.
Oh, so that was the
lesser of the three, yes.
Oh.
The building is crowned with an octagonal drum, which supports a segmented dome, 2 stories above the level of the roof.
Wow.
Pretty unbelievable architecture for that time.
Wow.
A figure of justice stands on top.
Oh, how impressive.
Very much.
Wow.
Shallow segmented domes painted silver top the 4 large corner pavilions. Oh, it's just magnificent. And it was the lowest price of all of them. They got good bidders back then.
So, Bobby Ray, did you have an exciting weekend?
I have to tell you, Sally Sue, I make it my mission to be the most informed person from Sweet Swine County as far as history is concerned. And yes, I had a great weekend.
Why just outside Sweet Swine County?
Well, you know, our fan base is expanding for the Cocklebur Morning Show. So I think it's important that people understand that one of my duties is to represent this show in southern Minnesota.
Definitely.
Okay?
Definitely.
And besides, the executive producer gave me an expense account, so I use it.
Excuse me?
Yeah. Well,
an expense account?
Don't get all excited. It's only $2.55, but it's moving up. I spend every penny.
Okay, well, why don't you tell us how you spent your expense account this
Sally
weekend?
Sue, I went over to the town of Tracy in Lyon County.
Oh, yes.
Okay, have you ever been? It's a pretty cool town.
No, I haven't. But
it is I love that town. It's a cool town. You know, we have a lot of fans in Tracy. I have a lot of fans in Tracy, which I didn't realize, yes.
Really?
I went into the Tracy Bakery, which is on Main Street.
Oh, nice.
And immediately they recognized me, which was very impressive.
Okay.
And I know that because she stood behind the counter and said, "How are you?"
Really?
Not everybody does that with me.
So, Bobby Ray, you went over to Tracy just to visit the bakery?
No, Sally Sue, although believe me, that would have been enough of a reason to go.
Really?
Oh, I'm telling you what, their baked goods are made from scratch.
Ooh.
They've been in business for 50 years. They are just outstanding, okay?
Yummy.
Oh my
Yummy.
gosh, can't you tell? I had a few over the weekend.
Oh, I see.
But I'm here to tell you, I got some for our owner, J.R. Olson. He thinks we're the greatest, let me tell you.
That's such a good idea.
I thought it was a good idea.
Boy,
Yep,
that's
absolutely.
how you spent your money.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Anyway, the real reason that I went to Tracy, on top of that,
Yes.
was to go and visit the Wheels Across the Prairie Museum.
Oh, really?
And I brought back a brochure, so I'd kind of like to read this to you.
Share it with us, please.
In 1977, a small group of citizens embarked on the long and often frustrating task of erecting a memorial to those hardy pioneers who stayed with this often wild land. The purpose was to collect wheels from all facets of their lives, agricultural, railroad, and automotive, plus all the little wheels, which helped this county grow and prosper. The Wheels Across the Prairie Museum opened its doors on June 1, 1985 to share the story with visitors.
Oh, Bobby Ray, I do have to admit that you discovered some great places. Oh.
I'm telling you.
Wonderful.
Well, I have to thank you, Sally Sue. I'm sure our viewers wish we had more time to show some of these, but we have to move on. You know, we've also had guests who are truly making a difference in our communities.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes, definitely.
Musical guests who have entertained us and our viewers. And guests who have shared their interesting hobbies and businesses.
Yes, and you know, one of our favorite guests who is making a difference is Terry Golden.
That's true.
Who, well, what do you say? Let's just take a look.
Let's take a look, you bet.
Let's just take a
Absolutely.
look. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's bring out this morning's guest.
Yes.
From the county of Rock, in the city of Laverne, we'd like to welcome Terry Golden.
Welcome.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Welcome, Terry. It's such a pleasure to
Absolutely.
have you here.
Yes.
My pleasure.
I understand that you're with an organization called Honor Flight. What is that?
Honor Flight is a national program that covers the entire country. And our sole goal is to bring World War II veterans to Washington, D.C. to see the memorial that was built and dedicated in 2004. There are probably 160 or 70 flight hubs, which we are one in Laverne, Minnesota, representing Southwest Minnesota.
Really?
It's an organization that we put together, our hub in probably late 2009. In November, we formed the hub mostly to bring about 14 to 15, maybe 16 veterans in Rock County who had not been able to see the memorial and weren't sure that they were going to get to for a variety of reasons. April 30th we flew our first 110 veterans to Washington, D.C.
That's outstanding.
Nice.
And
That's
we
outstanding.
have our second flight scheduled and planned for October 1, so we'll be taking another 110.
That's
So
great.
It's awesome.
Wonderful, wonderful. So it began, can you tell us a little bit how the organization began?
Certainly.
What-
And, you
what
know, it's really an
prompted it?
interesting story. In 2004, when the memorial was built and dedicated, we had already lost 65% of the World War II veterans
Oh,
in this
really?
country.
I didn't realize
Yeah,
that.
it is amazing. In 2005, a retired Air Force captain, I think it was, a 27-year veteran, was hired by the Department of Veteran Affairs to run a small clinic in Springfield, Ohio.
Okay.
While he was attending to his clients, he would ask these gentlemen or ladies if they thought that they would ever have a chance to see the memorial, and most of the responses were, well, I hope so, I think so, if somebody can take me. And it would go on like this, and the next year he asked, did you ever have a chance to see your memorial? And he said, the first guy that he asked that question to said, no, I wasn't able to. And asked why, and he says, well, I just couldn't get there. My family couldn't afford to take me. And he was also a pilot. He has a private pilot's license. And he said, could I take you? Would you go if I would take you? And he said the guy broke down and cried.
Oh, my.
And that started it. He took the gentleman to Washington, D.C., took care of him for a day, flew him there at no cost to him.
Oh, that's
Those
great.
those are the two premises of honor flight. First, there's no cost to the veteran, and you have to take care of them while they are there. Well, he knew that he had something going on, so he invited pilots from his association to also fly with him. And they took 12 airplanes and
Oh,
took
my goodness.
in one to two in each one of them, and flew to Washington, D.C., and that was the first inaugural flight.
That
And
just
by
gives
the
me
end, that was in May of 2005, and by August, the demand was so great that they started using commercial airlines. Last year, we took somewhere between 35 and 37,000 veterans to Washington, D.C. across the country. This year, it probably doubled.
Well, Sally Sue, that was a great guest.
Oh, yes, sure was Bobby Ray and Bobby Ray. Remember our musical guest?
Sally Sue, how could I forget? If I remember, whenever we have a musical guest, you become, shall I say, a bit starstruck?
Oh, I just can't help it. We have such incredible performers.
Well, let's take a look.
Okay, let's.
Okay.
Song is this is about something that we could all use a little bit more of. This is a song about and called Time. Now, is this a dream? Is this for real? Is this exactly how I kinda knew I would feel? I'm seeing the light, oh yeah. Now am I a king? Am I a fool? Am I the winner or am I just bending the rules? I'm seeing the light, oh yeah. And I know when I'm in doubt that time will help me out. And in the here and now, time will show me how. Up on a cloud, then up in the air, up and then back to the ground where it's all disrepair. I'm seeing the light, oh yeah. And filling my heart is all of the times and all of the places that I once again was alive. And seeing the light, oh yeah. I guess it's no surprise that time don't compromise. I know I can depend on time like an old friend. And when my world's all rain, yeah, time will heal the pain. when I search for more. Yeah, time will open doors, but if I'm left behind, no time, she will not rewind. So I'll make the time to see life shine forever. I'm seeing the light, oh yeah.
Well, now it's time to introduce our guest.
Yes. And you know what, Sally Sue? You need to know that music is my life.
Wait a minute. 2 weeks ago, you told us that fashion was your life.
Well, I know, but truly down deep inside, my burning passion is music.
I see.
It
Okay.
really is. It
No,
really is.
okay, I understand.
And I want to tell you, we have a treat today. Because we have a musical talent all the way from the big city of Mankato.
All the way from Mankato?
Yes, yes.
Oh.
On our show today. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming none other than Lonesome Ron. Oh, I'm telling you. Welcome, welcome.
Well, thank you, and it's really good to be here today.
Yes. Oh, well, Lonesome, it's so great to have you in Sweet Swine County.
Yes, it is. It's a joy.
Well, when you called, I had just gotten a call from the women of Sweet Swine County, and they wanted me to be on their show, but I didn't get back to them, and then you called.
Well, Lonesome, I was walking past the ladies' dressing room, and I happened to overhear them making a phone call about booking you. Now, we would never try to steal another guest, but I thought, what a great idea! And so I was calling to see if there was a chance we might be able to book you later. Is
Yes,
what I was
I'm
thinking.
sure we would never do anything
No,
like
no.
that. So, Lonesome, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your music?
Well, sure I can. I do a lot of songs from the Old West, like Home on the Range, and I Ride an Old Paint, and a lot of tunes from the Singing Cowboys of the 1930s, and I even write a lot of my own about the Old West and the Old Midwest as well.
Wow, Lonesome. Could you sing a song for us?
Sure can.
Oh, great.
Love to.
That'd be great. Could you maybe get a cold cloth for Sally Sue, too? Just a thought. Okay, let's hear now from Lonesome Ron.
Okay, now, when I was growing up, I was watching all these westerns on TV, and I noticed that a lot of them took place in Colorado and Arizona and Texas, but none of them took place in Minnesota. And I always thought they should make a singing cowboy movie that took place in Minnesota. And I wrote a song that I thought if they ever do that, this song will be waiting for them.
Oh, good. Awesome.
I've ridden in the Rockies of Wyoming and underneath the Arizona sky. Been north to Idaho and the trail to Mexico and lived among the Colorado pines. I traveled through the desert of Sonora, across the Texas plains to San Antone. But when it's late at night and the stars are shining bright, I miss my Cannon River Valley home. Ole, 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 oh, you can take me to the hills of California, or on a riverboat to New Orleans, across the Rio Grande, or up to Texarkana, or to the bluegrass land of Tennessee. You can put me on a fast train through Montana, but when I'm wandering all alone, my thoughts begin to stray at the end of every day back to my Cannon River Valley home. Oh, Lord, oh, lay, oh, Lord, oh,
Incredible. Bobby Ray, what do you say we show the folks another one?
You know, I think that's a great idea, Sally Sue. Let's look at
yes.
another one. I think it's a great idea.
When the barn's on fire, let it burn down to the ground. When the barn's on fire, let it burn down to the ground. 'Cause in the smoke and the ashes, you never know what can be found. When the love's long gone, let it run, run away. When the love's long gone, let it run, run away. 'Cause you can't make a wandering love wanna stay. So when the barn's on fire, let it burn down to the ground. When the barn's on fire, let it burn down to the ground. 'Cause in the smoke and the ashes, you never know what can be found. So I go out to the country to find my peace of mind. Yeah, I go out to the country to find my peace of mind. But a cold, hungry ghost is all I could find. So when the barn's on fire, let it burn down to the ground. When the barn's on fire, let it burn down to the ground. 'Cause in the smoke and the ashes, you never know what can be found.
Oh my, I have to say, again, incredible.
You know, Sally Sue, I hate to say it, but when you're right, you're right.
Of course I am.
I give you credit where credit's due.
Exactly.
You know, Sally Sue, I pride myself as quite a musical buff.
Oh, really?
I personally book all of the musical acts for our show. So if you should be wondering who the genius is behind these, you're sitting right next to him.
Oh, well, honey, I have to say, good job.
Thank you.
Good
Thank you.
job.
Thank you. Appreciate
and
that.
ladies and gentlemen, throughout our story country, there have been many people who have had interesting hobbies.
That's true. Very true.
And here are a couple that have been our guests.
Well, let's take a look.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to bring out our guest. As you know, we here on the Cocklebur Morning Show love to share with you interesting people and
Absolutely.
places.
Yes.
And today we truly have an interesting person
We do.
who has an interesting hobby.
Mm-hmm.
Join me in welcoming Bart Saxton. So Bart, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I'm from Fairmont here originally. Went away for a while, but I'm back again. I live out by Northrop, and I'm a computer support specialist.
Very good. Do you work out of your home or do you in the area? Or?
Work for Modern Office Systems.
I'll be darned. Well, that sounds great, Bart, but what do you do for fun?
I like to do medieval reenactments.
I wondered if that might have something to do with what you were wearing.
Really?
Okay.
So I have a very modern job during the week, and on the weekends I drift off to the 13th century.
Where would we see your production, or where would you have this on display?
We don't really do it as a spectator activity.
Okay.
This is, it's more fun if you actually do it than if you just stand and watch.
I see, okay.
One of the few requirements the organization has is that you make an attempt at pre-17th century clothing to participate.
Oh, okay. So, and this
would be an attempt.
Just look at, listen,
Now,
that's
did
really heavy.
did you make that, or did?
Fortunately, no, I bought the chainmail
Okay.
shirt.
And there are companies that produce this?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Okay.
And a lot of people within the organization produce it as well.
There are times when I've been with Sally Sue that I kind of wish I'd have had that. I'm sorry, it was just a little joke.
Would protect you from the slings and arrows of adversity.
Absolutely. Very well. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Are you going to get one, honey?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I'm thinking about
The
it.
logo that's on your shirt, is that significant? symbol for
That's
you? Or?
that's my coat of arms within
Your
the
coat of arms.
organization.
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Properly blazoned, it's argent, which is the heraldic term
Oh,
for
yes.
white.
Okay.
A sheep,
Oh, okay.
rampant, the sinister sable, or in other words, a black rampant sheep within a red border ghoul.
Oh,
What they
okay.
call ghouls.
Ooh,
okay.
okay.
Argent, a sheep, rampant, to sinister ghouls.
So when you travel off to the 13th century, do you have others travel with you? Or are you out there by yourself? I'm just a little curious.
Nope. There's events just about every weekend
Really?
that I go to. I don't get to all of them, obviously. It's the group's called the Society for Creative Anachronisms.
Ooh.
It's an international organization. I believe last I heard there was around 40,000 paid members. In August every year in Pennsylvania, there's an event they call the Penzic War, which has, I think last I heard, 14,000 people showed up for it.
Now, when you go to one of these events, do you have encampments or, I don't know if you would say tents or, that type of thing?
Yeah, what did they
villages
live
that
in
you sit up?
the 13th
Or
century?
do you
Yes,
go
we
to
do.
the holiday and,
Yes, we do. All of the above.
All the above.
Depending on what the event is. Obviously, in the winter, camping events aren't terribly popular.
I wouldn't think so, especially in a metal suit.
Especially in a metal suit. So, Holiday Inn would be an excellent choice in the winter. But in the summer, like the Penzic War, that's about a full week, 10-day camping trip.
really?
Lots of weekend events in the summer where you camp out over the weekend.
Tell us what takes place.
I like to call it the good parts of the Middle Ages. We do all the fun
Okay.
things from Middle Ages and try to skip over the bad parts.
Okay.
Nobody recreates the plague.
Okay, that's a good idea.
Skip over that.
That's a great idea.
And the battle reenactments we have are what you would call chivalrous combat.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
We're not out, it's not all an out war.
right.
And we have very stringent safety requirements on the equipment, the armor, the behavior to make sure it's as safe as possible. But we get out in armor with shields, and instead of swords, we use sticks because they invented lawyers since the Middle Ages.
Oh, probably not one of the greatest inventions, but I understand.
Unlike fencing, the contact has to be a solid blow. It can't just be a touch.
Okay.
So you have to have pretty good armor. But we also do tournaments, feasts, balls.
Really?
A wide range of the arts and crafts of the Middle Ages are recreated.
Do you want individuals to come and visualize or see what's going on or visit these programs?
Personally, I think everyone should come out and play
Okay.
with us.
All right.
That's good. Yeah.
Especially
So where do you find more information on this then?
the easiest way is the web.
Okay.
It's kind of bad to mention the web when you're dressed like you're from the 13th century. The base website to start with would be www.sca.org.
Okay.
That would be the overall organization, the Society for Creative Anachronism.
Right now, why don't we invite our guest out today?
Yes.
I'm telling you, I'm excited about this.
I am too.
know.
Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, our guest today is well known on national TV, has been on various talk shows. We are so pleased and proud to have with us today Martin County's own Tron guy, Jay Maynard. Welcome, Jay. Welcome.
Welcome, Jay, to our show. It's a delight to have you here.
I'm happy to be here.
Jay, it is a pleasure to have you here, but I have a question. Where in the heck did you get that suit?
I had it custom made.
Really?
The characters in the movie Tron, if you look,
right.
their bodies are all green and the other folks who made costumes like this, they tended to make them out of white, and I felt that was kind of wimping out on it. So I actually went to Fleet and picked this color of paint and painted up the identity disc here and sent it off to a lady who I dealt with before and had her make the unitard custom to my size and match the color.
That
So-
is very unique.
So what did you use? I mean, there's soft
This
pieces,
is-
hard pieces.
Yes.
What did you use to make it?
The soft pieces are all cotton spandex.
Okay.
It's actually one piece covers the entire body.
Oh, really?
This is the same kind of hockey helmet that they actually used in the movie.
And that's an actual hockey
That's an
helmet?
actual Cooper hockey helmet.
Wow, and you have all the wires?
Identity disc. That's
The
a
identity disc.
genuine
Look at that.
genuine
Wow.
whammo. This is formed PVC, and that's a football shoulder guard.
Really? Wow.
Wow,
Of course. Wow,
you know,
amazing.
and I understand because I've watched a couple of your national broadcast
Yes,
programs.
impressive.
Oh, very much so.
Yes.
And I want to know how the web helped you. But before you answer that, I think I'd like to give our viewers a treat. And let's see what Tron Guy looks like lit up, lights off. Louie, hit the lights.
Oh, wow. Look at that. I loved it. Wow.
So now, as I was asking you, now, how did the web help this all take off for you?
Without the web, it wouldn't have happened at all.
Okay.
As I was making the costume, I was getting help from a lady in New York City.
Really?
So getting from here to New York City is not something you just jump in your car and drive across town to do.
Yeah.
So I took pictures as I was going along and put them together for a web page for her so she could see the progress and give me hints. When it was done, I said, okay, fine, maybe other folks would like to make a costume like this. So I put the page up on the web for everybody to look at. And it became one of those pages that everybody emailed all their friends, hey, you gotta go check out this web page. And so without the web, it wouldn't have happened at all.
That's amazing.
Wow, I love seeing those guests again.
I know. Seems like yesterday, doesn't it?
It does. It's amazing.
What do you say we show a couple more?
Oh, good idea.
I think we should. Our viewers are going to like it. Let's do that.
Now, what do you say we bring out our guest? Ladies and gentlemen, from the County of Rock in the town of Laverne, I would like to welcome Vance Walgrave.
All right. Welcome.
Thank you.
Glad to have you here. You know, I'm curious. Did you have a company, but the company's called Those Blasted Things? I'm just curious. How'd that all come about? The name and the company and all that.
Well, it started out about 25 years ago. My wife Becky and I started a memorial company, Cemetery Memorials, Laverne Monuments. And we bought the equipment to sandblast, do memorials. And when we saw what it could do, the creative side kind of took over. And we started blasting a lot of yard rocks, small rocks, big rocks, and everything else like that. And when we opened in our location here, this one here 10 years ago, we thought, okay, if we call it Laverne Monuments, no one's going to come into our rock shop.
That's a good point.
And if we call it Those Blasted Things, who's going to buy a monument called Those Blasted Things?
True.
So we are two names in the same location.
Oh, okay. All right, that makes sense.
So totally, how many years have you been in business? The memorial?
For 25 years.
25, and the blasted things
for 10 years. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Interesting.
Now, I'm still curious. How did you happen to get into this business?
Into the rock side?
Yes.
I was one of these little boys that always came home with pockets full of rocks. And now I have bigger rocks. And yet, my wife and I, in the wintertime, close our store for a month. And we travel all over the Southwest. And we collect rocks, truckloads of rocks.
Oh, really?
Wow.
And we haul them back to our store, so everything is personally picked out. And yet, when I walk down to the Rock River on a sandbar or something like that, I still come home with pockets full of rocks. And most of them are leaverites.
Really?
My dad always said, leave it right where you found it.
Leaverites, I like that.
That's really interesting. Now, you know, I've heard that you have some really unusual items in your store. Outside of the rocks that you were talking about, fossils and even meteorites?
Yep.
Really?
And now, how do you make that decision of what to put in your store?
It is a case of my wife and I only buy stuff we think is really cool.
You know, Sally Sue just mentioned that there are unusual things in your store. What are some of the most unusual you have in your store?
For one, a woolly mammoth tooth.
You're kidding me. That's a tooth? Wait a minute.
I thought it was a crown. Well, tooth, crown.
This
Could
way?
be.
This is the chew side.
Look, it's so rough.
Wow.
And we also have woolly mammoth tusks.
Is that what this
and
came out of as well, was a woolly mammoth?
That was a woolly mammoth.
Really?
Yeah.
And you have the tusks too?
Yep. And I have part of one right here, right there.
Oh,
and you can
goodness.
see from the wear on here, from the animals rubbing against trees.
Now, has this been polished or is that just the way it rubbed?
It's that the wear down has been from the woolly mammoth.
That's what
Yeah, it has been polished up a little bit, cleaned up.
But not much. It's
Not
pretty
much.
much.
Another item that is kind of that we have among many things is this is a pretty piece of jewelry.
Jewelry.
Of
Like
course.
jewelry.
Of course.
Oh, look. Oh. Well,
And
now what kind of rock is that?
that is coprolite.
Oh,
It's
that's
what again?
very pretty.
Coprolite,
Coprolite.
also known as dinosaur poop. Petrified dinosaur poop.
Really?
Yeah.
You know, I'm curious as well. Do you actually go and find these when you take your trip to the Southwest, or are these found and then you acquire them? How does that work?
Most of the stuff we get is at the big rock shows down.
You know, that's interesting. You're in Rock County, Minnesota, and you buy rocks. And buy the semi-load, no less.
Yes, we do.
Today's guest is from the town of Worthington in Nobles County. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming Marv Spomer from Spomer Classics and Museum.
Welcome, Mr. Spomer. Welcome.
Thank you, but you can call me Marv.
Oh, okay.
Nice. Okay, Marv, can you tell us a little bit about your museum in the town of Worthington?
Yes, be happy to. The museum was started about, the collection was started about 25 years ago. And about 5 years ago, we decided that we would share the collection with the public. There's a lot of private collections like this, but nothing open to the public every day like we've done with this. And what you will see there is not only a collection of cars, there's some very unusual cars and there's some low number built cars, but our main emphasis is on signs.
Really?
Porcelain, neon signs. And porcelain signs and neon signs is art that's not used anymore. It's a thing of the past. And we have decided to share this with people. So what you will be looking at would be all vintage signs, starting some of them back as early as the early 1900s.
I'll be darned.
And the majority of them come out of auto dealerships, but we have expanded our collection to include farm implement signs, lots of automobile memorabilia, farm memorabilia, pedal cars, various items that are interest to a lot of different people.
Now
We kind of renew the old days.
Sure. Now, you mentioned neon signs. I didn't realize they weren't making those anymore.
There are very few neon signs built anymore.
Really?
Right.
Now, are these signs donated or did you purchase
Very good
them?
question.
They have been purchased.
Really?
And they are from all over the country.
Really?
In fact, some signs were used in movie props in Hollywood.
Well, there you have it, folks. A few of our favorite guests that we've had over the last year.
Yes.
Now, let's take a look at some of the reports from outside of Sweet Swine County over the past year. What?
Bobby Ray.
What?
Bobby, I'm sorry to say.
Oh.
We're out of time.
Well, you know what? Tell me that we at least have time to thank them for their
yes.
reports.
Oh, yes.
Well, go ahead, Sally
We're going
Sue.
to take the time,
Okay.
Bobby Ray.
All right. All right.
A special thanks to our cooking host,
Oh, yes.
Betty with Betty,
Yeah, that was a great one.
Ronnie P.
Silage,
Silage, who reports in with almost breaking news.
Yes, yes, yes.
And our roving reporter, your favorite,
Clarice.
with Hidden Away, not forgotten.
Mm-hmm,
And our wandering motorist, cousin Jeff.
I like him a lot.
Yes. In the passenger seat, and book author Caroline in Memoirs of a Librarian.
Quite interesting book,
Yes,
too.
yes.
Hey, Sally Sue, thanks to all our reporters, and a special thanks to you, our viewers, who
Yes.
have made this past year just a joy, and for making the Cocklebur Morning Show the most watched morning show in all of Sweet Swine County,
yes.
and soon to be beyond.
Exactly.
Now that we're in the cities,
Yes.
the sky's the limit, Sally
Exactly,
Sue. And with all kidding aside, we have a lot of fun up here.
Oh,
and
definitely.
none of this could happen without you. You're a wonderful co-host.
Oh,
it's a
bless you.
pleasure to work
Yes,
with you,
it's a
okay?
pleasure to
And I
work
might
with
share
you.
my assistant with you once in a while. Okay.
please.
All right. We're looking forward to season 2,
Yes.
where we will continue to
yes.
weed out the big stories from across Sweet Swine County and beyond.
Exactly.
So for now, folks, all we can say is bye-bye.
Bye-bye.